Welcome back to Strength Talk. So glad you could join us. Today we're diving into something that every single leader grapples with: how to build real, lasting engagement with your team. And we're going to get past all the usual advice and dig into the foundational stuff that actually works.
You know, we've all sat through one of those big, rah-rah motivational speeches, right? They're supposed to fix everything. But the truth is, that's just a temporary fix. As this quote says, real engagement isn't about a fleeting moment of inspiration. It's about systematically, and I mean step by step, creating an environment where your team has exactly what they need to really thrive. So let's start by busting a huge myth, what I like to call the engagement myth. We're going to break down exactly why those flashy, feel-good tactics just don't create the kind of sustainable results we're all looking for. And here it is. This is the real secret sauce. A motivational speech, that's kind of like a sugar rush. It feels good for a minute, but it doesn't last. Empowerment, on the other hand, that's some serious long-lasting fuel. When your team actually has the freedom to act, to have a real influence, and to make their own decisions, well, productivity doesn't just get a little better, it absolutely soars. It's all about trust and ownership.
Okay, so if big speeches aren't the answer, then what is? Well, we have to shift our thinking and focus on the real building blocks of engagement. And this leads us to a really powerful framework called Positive Psychology Coaching, or PPC for short. This is how we move away from those temporary fixes and toward real, sustainable growth.
So what exactly is positive psychology coaching? It's not about trying to fix what's broken in people. Nope, it's all about building on what already works. It's a framework for creating an environment where your employees genuinely feel connected, committed, and engaged. This is what gives them the strength to thrive, even when things get tough or uncertain. And PPC is built on these 4 core pillars you see right here. Think of these as the foundation of any truly engaged team. We're talking about fostering autonomy, so people feel like they have some control over their own work. Then there's building competence, so they feel skilled and effective at what they do. Of course, stimulating skills development, so they're always learning and growing. And finally, creating trusting relationships. That's the glue that really holds the whole thing together. All right, theory is great, but how do we actually do this stuff? That's what this next section is all about. This is your action blueprint. We're going to zoom in on 2 of those key pillars: autonomy and trust. And I'm going to give you some concrete steps you can literally start using tomorrow.
First up, let's amplify autonomy. Instead of just assuming you know what's best, I want you to try asking this simple but incredibly powerful question. This completely changes the dynamic, you know? It shifts you from just delegating to actually collaborating. You're not just throwing a task over the wall, you're building the process together and showing them you truly value their input.
Next, let's talk skills. Asking this question transforms you from just a manager into a coach, a real resource. You're not just focused on getting the task done anymore, you're actively helping them succeed by opening the door for conversations about training or tools or whatever support they might need.
And finally, we have what might be the most important step of all. And notice, it's not a question, it's a statement, a declaration. Just saying this one sentence creates so much psychological safety. You're telling your team that it's okay to experiment, it's okay to try new things, and hey, it's even okay to fail, because you're going to learn from it together. That's what trust really sounds like in action.
All right, we've gone through the theory and the tactics. Now it's time to actually put it into practice with our weekly challenge. This is where the rubber meets the road, where we turn these ideas into immediate action.
So here's your challenge for this week. I want you to take a look at the tasks your team is working on. Find one that's kind of routine, maybe even a little boring. Now think about it. How can you reframe that task as a growth opportunity for someone? Can you use it to give them a little more autonomy, or maybe a chance to develop a new skill? Don't just think about it, give it a shot this week.
So give that challenge a try. You know, building engagement inside your team is a huge first step. Next week, we're going to look outward and break down how to build powerful connections outside the team in our explainer on fostering strategic alliances. I really hope you'll join us for that. And hey, if today's explainer really sparked an idea for you, do me a favor and share it with your network so they can grow right alongside you. And for anyone who's ready to dive even deeper, all the concepts we talked about today are part of our Positive Psychology Coaching course, which really helps you turn these insights into lasting action.
That's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for listening to Strength Talk.